Your dog starts drooling the second you open the car door. Maybe they shake, maybe they vomit before you even leave the driveway. And every time it happens, you think, my dog hates the car. But here's the thing most owners miss. Drooling in the car can mean two completely different things, and those two things need two completely different plans. One is fear, the other is motion sickness. They look almost identical from the outside, and if you treat the wrong one, you end up making the actual problem worse. I am going to show you how to tell which one your dog is dealing with, walk you through a step-by-step plan that starts with a parked car and works up to actual driving, cover the restraint setup that keeps your dog physically safe without adding to the anxiety, and explain when this is a veterinary conversation instead of a training project. Let us start with the question that changes everything. Is this fear or is this motion sickness? Fear-based car anxiety is a learned response. Something about the car predicts a bad experience for your dog. Maybe the first few rides ended at the vet. Maybe they got car sick as a puppy and now the car itself triggers the stress even before the engine turns on. A dog with car fear will often resist getting into the car, whine or pace before any movement starts, try to escape or hide, and show stress signals like panting, lip licking, and whale eye while the car is completely still. The key detail is that these dogs show distress before the car moves. The vehicle itself has become the trigger, not the motion. Motion sickness is a physical problem. The inner ear, which controls balance, sends signals that conflict with what the eyes are seeing. In puppies, this is especially common because the inner ear structures are still developing. Most puppies outgrow true motion sickness by about 1 year old as the inner ear matures. But here's where it gets complicated. A puppy who gets carsick repeatedly can develop fear of the car on top of the sickness. So by the time the inner ear finishes developing and the nausea would have stopped on its own, the dog has already learned that the car means feeling terrible. Now you have both problems stacked on top of each other. The quickest way to sort this out at home is to sit in the car with your dog while it is parked, engine off, all doors open. Give it about 5 minutes. If your dog is relaxed, sniffing around, taking treats, lying down calmly, the car itself is not the problem. The problem is likely motion-related, and you should talk to your vet about whether a trial of anti-nausea medication makes sense before you start any training plan. There is a prescription medication called meropitant, sold under the brand name Cerenia, that was the first medication to earn FDA approval specifically for preventing vomiting from car sickness in dogs. It works by blocking a specific neurotransmitter involved in the nausea signal, and it is available for dogs 4 months and older. Your vet can tell you whether a short course during the early stages of training would help your dog get past the nausea piece so the positive associations can actually form. If your dog is stressed in the parked car, panting, trying to escape, refusing food, shaking, you are dealing with a fear response to the vehicle itself, and that is where the training plan below begins. If you are not sure, or if your dog shows signs of both fear and nausea, bring it to your vet. They can evaluate whether nausea medication, anti-anxiety support, or a combination of both would help your dog reach a state where the training process can actually work. Medication in this context is not a cheat code. It is a way to lower the baseline stress enough that your dog can start forming new associations with the car. A dog who vomits every ride is not going to learn that the car is safe no matter how many treats you put on the back seat. Now, the training plan. And I want to be clear about this up front. This plan starts with a parked car and your dog's ability to leave at any time. You do not start with a drive around the block. That is how most people approach this, and it is exactly backwards. Putting an anxious dog straight into a moving car is like teaching someone to swim by throwing them into the deep end. Some dogs will survive it. None of them will trust you for the next lesson. Step 1 is approaching the car with no pressure. Walk your dog near the car and reward them for any calm behavior within about 10 feet of it, sniffing the tires, looking at the car without tension, standing near it with a relaxed body. Let them investigate at their own pace. If they do not want to get closer, do not pull them. End the session at whatever distance they were comfortable with, and try again the next day. This step might take 1 session or it might take a week. Follow your dog. Step 2 is entering the car voluntarily. Open all the doors so your dog has escape routes visible. Toss treats into the car, maybe onto the floor of the back seat or on a towel draped over the seat, and let your dog decide whether to go in after them. You can sit in the car yourself and let them come to you. Do not lift them in. Do not push, pull, or lure them past the point where their body tenses up. The goal is that your dog chooses to put their feet inside the car because something good is in there. Every entry is voluntary. Every exit is allowed immediately and without frustration from you. If your dog puts 2 paws in and then backs out, that is progress. Do not block the exit or try to keep them in longer than they chose to stay. Building trust with the car means showing your dog they are always free to leave. Step 3 is building comfort inside the stationary car. Once your dog is willingly getting in and out, start spending time together inside the parked car. Feed meals in there, give chews and favorite toys, sit with them while they settle. Close the doors for short periods, then open them again. Gradually extend the time the doors stay closed. Watch your dog's body language throughout. Panting, drooling, freezing, or attempting to escape means you moved too fast. Go back a step. If you are finding this helpful, subscribe. I put out practical training guides every few days, and car anxiety is one of those problems that gets so much easier once you have the right approach. Step 4 is adding the engine. With your dog comfortable in the stationary car with doors closed, start the engine and let it idle. Do not go anywhere. Just let the engine run while you feed treats or offer a chew. Some dogs will not react at all to the engine. Others will startle at the sound or the vibration through the floor. If your dog tenses up, keep the engine on for just a few seconds, reward any calm behavior, then turn it off and let them decompress. Repeat this over multiple sessions, building up the duration of engine time gradually. You might also try turning on the air conditioning or the radio at a low volume so your dog gets used to the full sensory experience of being inside a running car. The goal is to make the running engine boring, just another thing that happens while good stuff appears. Step 5 is short, slow movement. Back down the driveway and pull forward again. That is it for the first session with movement. If your dog handles that calmly, next session try a slow loop around the block. Keep the drives short, the speed low, and the route smooth. Avoid highways, sharp turns, and bumpy roads early on. And make sure every drive ends somewhere neutral or pleasant, not the vet clinic and not the groomer. You are building an association between car movement and calm, uneventful outcomes. If the only place your dog ever goes in the car is the vet, the car will always predict something unpleasant. Gradually increase the length of your drives as your dog stays relaxed. When you do extend the distance, vary your destinations. Drive to a park, drive to a friend's house where your dog can sniff around a yard, drive to a pet store where they get to walk the aisles and pick out a treat. The more different places the car takes them, the faster the old association breaks down and the new one takes its place. If the only place your dog ever goes is the vet, every car ride is going to feel like a sentence. Sometimes you have to put your dog in the car before the desensitization is complete. Vet emergencies happen. Moves happen. Life does not always wait for the training plan to finish. When you have no choice, do what you can to make it less awful. Give your dog a stuffed Kong or a long-lasting chew to occupy them during the ride. Use a covered crate if your dog does better without the visual stimulation of the moving world outside. Keep the temperature cool, the drive as smooth as possible, and the trip as short as you can make it. Accept that this ride is not a training session and it may cause a temporary regression. That is okay. One bad ride does not undo weeks of careful desensitization work. After the forced trip, go back to the last step where your dog was consistently relaxed and rebuild from there. Do not try to skip ahead to where you were before the setback. Let your dog show you where they are now, and trust that the foundation you built is still intact, even if the surface got rattled. Some dogs progress through these steps in a couple of weeks. Others need a month or more. Both timelines are fine. I am not going to give you a guaranteed number of days, because every dog's history with the car is different, and the depth of the fear response varies. The point is not speed. The point is that your dog's emotional response to the car is changing in the right direction at every step. Now, let me talk about keeping your dog safe in the car, because the restraint setup matters both for safety and for anxiety. An unrestrained dog in a car is dangerous for the dog and for every person in the vehicle. The Center for Pet Safety has crash-tested pet restraints, and what they found is that most products on the market do not actually protect a dog in a collision. Look for a harness or a crate that has been independently tested. A crate that is secured to the vehicle and properly sized gives your dog a contained, den-like space that can actually reduce anxiety for some dogs. A crash-tested harness attached to the car's seatbelt system keeps them in place without full enclosure. Whatever restraint you choose, introduce it as part of the training process, not on top of it. If your dog has never worn a car harness, do not strap it on for the first time during a highway drive. Let them wear it around the house first, then in the parked car, then during the short drives. Layer it into the desensitization process so it does not become another source of stress. One more thing about the car environment itself. Keep the temperature cool. Dogs overheat faster than people do, and heat amplifies nausea and anxiety. Crack a window for fresh air circulation, which also helps with motion sickness by equalizing the pressure in the inner ear. Use a non-slip mat or a towel on the seat so your dog is not sliding around on leather or vinyl. Sliding makes both nausea and anxiety worse because the dog cannot predict their own movement. And consider positioning. Some dogs do better in the back seat where they can see out the window. Others do better in a covered crate where they cannot see the movement at all. Try both and see which one your dog settles into more easily. Here is when this becomes a conversation for your vet instead of a weekend training project. If your dog vomits on every car ride, regardless of the length, talk to your vet about anti-nausea medication. Meropitant, which is sold under the brand name Serenia, is the first and only medication that has earned FDA approval specifically for preventing vomiting from motion sickness in dogs. It is available for dogs 4 months and older. Your vet can determine whether a short course of medication during the early stages of desensitization would help your dog get through the critical first rides without the nausea reinforcing the fear. If your dog's panic in the car includes frantic escape attempts, screaming, self-injury, or complete shutdown, that level of distress may benefit from anti-anxiety medication alongside the training plan. This is not something you should try to power through. A veterinary behaviorist or your primary vet can evaluate whether short-term or situational medication would give your dog the breathing room to actually learn that the car is safe. And if you have been working through the steps for several weeks and your dog is not showing any improvement at all, or if the anxiety is actually getting worse despite consistent work, that is also worth a professional conversation. Sometimes there is an underlying issue, pain, a vestibular condition, or a generalized anxiety disorder that the training plan alone is not equipped to address. Getting the right professional involved early saves you and your dog months of frustration. Car anxiety is one of those problems that feels permanent until you change the approach. Owners live with it for years, rearranging their whole life to avoid putting the dog in the car, or white-knuckling through every vet visit with a shaking, drooling dog in the back seat. But most dogs are not sentenced to a lifetime of that. They just need the training to start where they actually are instead of where we wish they were. A parked car with open doors and no expectations. That is the starting line. Everything after that is built one calm, voluntary step at a time, and the dog who used to shake at the sight of your car keys can become the dog who hops in the back and falls asleep before you hit the highway.